Live from Wendy's apartment in New York, it's the Wendy Williams Show at home. Now, here's Wendy.
Hey, wait. How you doing? Hi. Are you okay? Are you feeling well? Here's what keeps ringing in my head. And first of all, I've never cared about sharing my emotions with you. I cry with you, I laugh with you. I cry at least once a day. And I'll tell you when that at least once happens. 7 o'clock here in New York, when we're supposed to raise the roof, open the windows, scream outside with our pots and pans, clap them together for our first responders. Me and my cats, we participate in that. Like, I dig that. The cops and the doctors and the nurses and the school teachers and the MTA drivers that are dropping at a rapid rate, you know. So that's one time I cry. Another time usually happens when I see something else that's just chokingly sad on the news. There is this woman who lost her family. Her husband died one day alone, because he has the corona. And then her son, her only child, died a few days later. Now, I don't know what kind of brick you're made of, but Norman, you know this story?
I heard it. It's really sad. It's terrible.
They died alone, and now she's alone. And it's all because of something that should have never happened. Do you cry every day? I know you got a heart made of stone.
Do I cry every day? These days, my emotions, like the anxiety, it's a lot. So,
exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. Like sometimes it's like a commercial or a TV show, and I'm like, oh my God.
You know what I cried at? I was watching the Clark sisters on Lifetime. What a great job they did on that movie. And the Clark sisters just really came through. There is not a person I don't know who didn't see it, the first airing, where they informed me of something about me during a little commercial that played regarding me during the movie. But I fell asleep last night really early, and then I woke up like at midnight. My body clock is all the way off. And the Clark sisters movie had just started. And I watched it. Norman, I laughed, I cried. Then the commercial comes on. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right.
It's weird doing TV and then seeing yourself on TV out of nowhere.
Right.
Norman, that was a good old tease though, right?
It was good.
My mom, Joy, and Andy Cohen. And they're only a few of the people that we'll be speaking during the documentary coming soon to you about my messy life. Mess. Anywho, what are we talking about? We are talking about
Puffy and his big dance-a-thon.
I was invited. You know, I'm not the dancer. I just didn't want to be involved, but I appreciate that people are doing things to keep people's minds off of the mess that we're going through as a country right now. All right, so they were all dancing and having a good time. It was family day at the compound. Well, first of all, I don't even know why they're out of the house, okay? But I'm sure Puffy has everything sprayed down and
yeah, it was fun, mainly him with the kids. But like,
yeah?
On Instagram.
Well, it sounded fun. So then I read that Lizzo went into full-blown twerking at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And Puffy shut it down because he said, this is not appropriate. He wasn't fat shaming. What he was doing is time shaming. 4 o'clock, in the afternoon.
But
spicy
Brea, he stopped her working.
I know. Wait, hold on. Spicy. Okay. I'm not going to eat until we're finished. But spicy Doritos. I love a fancy cutlery. And you know I love caviar. A little caviar and some Doritos. This brings me up high. This keeps me exactly where I need to be. Right here, acting a fool. Anyway, so he stops Lizzo, but then Drea twerks, full-blown twerking at 10 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, this is not fat shaming. What this is time shaming. You don't twerk in front of kids at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. People who don't have children would not know that because you're just living for excuse me, Norman, you're living for yourself and you do it all the time. Do you want kids?
No, I don't.
Do you like kids?
I love kids. I just don't want my own. But also, I mean, you can't convince me that it wasn't fat shaming. Sorry, puppy. I love you.
Well, he covered it real well because I believe that it was time shaming. You know, as a mother, I know what happens at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Family Day. By 10 o'clock at night, all those kids are in the west wing of the mansion compound. They've got a nanny per kid. There's 55 kids in there, and they are all coloring, spray painting, silly stringing, sleeping, whatever they're doing. The nannies are instructed, lock the door, do not let these kids out. Right. And then that's when adults turn up. And that's what Drea was doing. That's all. Look, yeah. I'm trying to see both sides of the coin, okay? You know she's not my favorite person. But, we all fall down and then get up.
Right.
You know I was on the phone earlier today with Greg Mathis. That's all I'm going to say. You know our history. Well, this is what happens when you're quarantined. You think about people who, like I watch him on TV, I'm like, are me and this man still fighting? You know, is he still calling me names? Am I still calling him names? Because I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh, the judge is so entertaining on his show. Like, I need this in my life. All I do is sit in the house and feel the building rock back and forth. Yeah, I got one of those buildings. Oof. It rocks 4 inches to the right and 4 inches to the left. Every crystal on every chandelier is moving right now. Boof is my witness. So if anything crashes down, just know it's not me. It's the building. But yeah, me and Greg are back to being, we were never friends. I only knew him. I met him one time and we fought like cats and dogs. And now we got together. Norman, remember those days?
I mean, etched in my brain.
Good old radio days. But no, me and Greg, we had a good old conversation. I've invited him to be on our special edition while we're still quarantining.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to Yeah. He's going to come on. He knows the law. He's a judge, for goodness sakes. Plus, I like his ways and his alligator shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's a good one. He's a good one. Anyway, Blac Chyna is charging people to join her and follow her and FaceTime with her. The price is $295 or $250, and that's on IG, or follow her on FaceTime for $950. Now I'm a woman, I'm allowed to change my mind. No, I'm not following Erykah Badu. Because I never felt Badu, so $2, I'm not even paying that for her. Sorry. But I would pay $95 for Tori Spelling because I like that family. She's got 5 children, a faulty husband, and a mother who won't give her a dime. A mother that I love, but won't give her a dime. Norman?
Right.
Now, you'd follow Badu, but you said you've got not a dime for Tori.
I'm not giving $95 to Tori Spelling.
Right, so you and I disagree.
And I'm not giving $250 to Blac Chyna for her to follow me on Instagram. Or $950.
How dare her!
To FaceTime her.
Here's my thought on that. And you know I love Chyna. I love her, love her, love her. But she is not worth $950 or $250. Now, if she comes down to $95, do it. I'm going to tell you who needs to do it. Because you know there's not room at every Yale, Harvard, Columbia, Holyoke. There's not room at these colleges for every girl. There's some girls who have to resort to what their mama gave them.
Right.
And if you're one of those girls and you want firsthand knowledge of how to grab that brass ring of bootydom, who better to go to? Look, Chyna is in that family not once but twice. First she was Tyga's, then Kylie accepted her and they all get along. Then she got impregnated by Rob. Rob is dizzy with love over this girl, would love to get back together with her. She doesn't want to get back together with him. She wants to move on with her life. But she's in the first family. Now, from what I understand, the first family does not like Chyna, but they love her baby girl. They love that girl. And to see the girl, you got to get along with Chyna. See? Yeah. Who better to learn from, Norman? $95? Did I convince you if you're one of those girls?
Yeah, right.
A master class.
A master class with Blac Chyna. Money well spent.
Because we're not all going to be under Corona. And there are going to be some people going back to, what they do.
Right.
And when you get back to it, you just want to make sure you're not wasting your time on a dud or a liar, man. You want to make sure you get a good one like Rob. Good old Rob. Hypnotized. Now, this Gavin Rossdale, he was married to Gwen Stefani. Gavin and Gwen are divorced, and they are trying to co-parent. And Gavin says that Gwen makes it difficult because when he drops their three boys off to Gwen's house, that he doesn't know who the boys are socializing with. So now he's dealing with Corona, maybe, based on who they socialize with. And I'm like, well, how old are these boys? Aren't they old enough to be able to talk for themselves? Like Dad, Mom had a play date for us. There were 8 kids there. We colored and, we swam. We rode horses, or even the animals, are other than my 2, because they don't leave the house. So they've got 3 sons. And, the youngest was born back in 2016. And they're not together anymore. And I just feel like at least the oldest is old enough to speak for the other 2 and him to say, this is what happened. But here's Gavin, and I don't really know what to think. Tell me what you think. Take a look.
That is a real big dilemma for parents with kids with split custody.
Right.
Because you don't want to, I don't want to, you know what I mean? You're a little mindful of like, I know who's around me, no one, and know who's bringing me the Corona, no one. And so if you send your kids out somewhere else and they come back to you, you're like, now you're prone to whoever they're with. So it's a tricky one, for all divorced parents.
I mean, first of all, he lives in LA and she lives in Oklahoma. I already checked. It's a 4-hour flight from LA to Oklahoma. It's a 19-hour drive from LA to Oklahoma. If you really want to know how your kids are doing, then you drop them off at the top of the ranch and you stay down the street at the motel. And you drive them with a bunch of spray. You spray the car down and you drive them and wipe and wipe and wipe. And check their temperature before they even get in the car. You have an honest conversation with Gwen. My thing is I had no idea that they were still fighting like this. There's part of me, even though I love Gwen and Blake together, part of me feels that Gwen and Blake are a selfish, still in their newlywed time together. Even though they're not married, but I feel like they might as well be married. And they're selfish, posting selfies and doing stuff like, oh my gosh, look at us, we're totally single and free. But no, they're not. They got to take responsibility for these kids. And Gavin, you need to pipe down and go along with what your wife says. And if you are really an unselfish man, you'd let your wife have the kids for this entire quarantine, because we love dads, but moms are the number one parent. So why wouldn't you have just dropped the kids off at the house? And then the other part of me says, Gwen doesn't want any parts of that. Not full time, not right now. She's still busy, loving up on Blake. I've got one of my favorite guests. Do you know who that is? The fabulous. You know I love you, Mario Cantone.
I love you too. I cannot believe you're eating caviar, which is my favorite thing. I could eat it morning, noon, and night. That's hilarious. I actually, Jerry, my husband and I had some the other night on Good Friday because it's fish. Any fish excuse to have caviar. We had some caviar the other night. It was lovely. I love it.
Well, do you make quarantinis? Do you and Jerry have quarantinis?
First of all, this is perfect for me because I don't love leaving the house. I'm a recluse. I love being home. I like the choice of going out, which is it sucks. As much as I'm a recluse, this really sucks. But yeah, we've been out. We put our little masks on and our gloves. I have these gloves that I got that are too small. They look like the Playtex commercial from the 1960s with the woman in the yellow glove cleaning the counter. That's what it looks like. So it looks like I have nails under them. It looks ridiculous. So we go out in the mask and those gloves, and I'm like a ninja shopper. I'm in there. I get what I got to get. I fly around corners. I almost bump into people and I scream in their faces. I mean, it's horrifying, the whole thing. I get what I get, and then I get home, and that's it. And then we get home. My routine basically is I'm up at 2 in the afternoon, which is perfect for me. Getting up today early for you was like getting up at 4 a.m., but I did it for you because why? I love you. I love that you're just in a bathrobe and eating caviar on a Dorito. I have it on potato chips. You have it on a Dorito. How fantastic is that? So we do that, and then we shop. We cook. We cook every night. I make him breakfast every day. I make people go. Barbara Walter said to me one time, "You make him breakfast every day?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." What do you think? I just throw a row of Oreos on the table and say, "Here, eat. I'm going back to bed." No, I make a breakfast every day when he's home or when I don't have to work. But we cook every night. We have a large tequila cocktail at 7 p.m.
There you go.
Oh yeah, a large, not like a 2 ounce, like a 4 ounce tequila cocktail, and that's just the tequila. Then the rest of the stuff, juice or whatever you put in it.
Let me ask you something, because you're a recluse like I am. Like, I like to elect to be in. I don't like to be told stay in. There's something very horrible about all of this, and we're all in it together. But you and Jerry have never had a traditional marriage where you actually live together.
Well,
so
actually, we live together. Well, we still live together, but he is bi-coastal. But that's not true, because mostly we live together for up until the last 2 years. We've been living together. It's 2 years ago that he got this job in Seattle in the theater, and he was going back and forth. But I'm going to tell you something.
How are things going?
Well, let me tell you, he did. He directs one show a season. He was in the middle of directing that. He teched the show. They did 2 previews. He packed his stuff and he came home, because that's who my husband is. He came home. He was like, "I will be home." I'm like, "Good." So he's home. That's it. And he's here indefinitely. I mean, he's still working for the theater. They have conference calls every day. He's like working full time still. Believe me, they're trying to figure it all out. Because the last thing that's going to happen is theaters, concerts, discotheques. Do they still have them? I don't know. I'm 90. I mean, until there's a vaccine, where are people going? Where?
To Sex and the City on TV to see you and the girls in the repeats?
I've been getting a lot of that too. There's been a lot of that. I know, it's so devastating see me. Thank you for letting me see myself 15 years ago every day. It's horrifying.
Look exactly the same.
I look at myself and I go, a tear comes down my eye and I go, I was beautiful then.
The other day when you told Samantha that she had a roll coming over her sexy outfit.
Oh, that was the movie, yeah.
It made me cry.
Yeah, did it really? You weep at the drop of a dime, don't you? You like
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. I do too. Things by the way, so our Easter was we got up, watched the Clark sisters, which was magnificent.
Right?
First of all, Ingenue Ellis playing the mother, who I did The Tempest with on Broadway years ago.
Really?
I know her a little bit. I haven't seen her in years, but she was always so talented. She was magnificent. And all those girls singing
All
their
of
own
them.
stuff. This is what I love. I love when you see a biopic like that, where you find these actresses or actors, you find them, you have them audition, and you make sure they can act and they can sing. I don't want to see you lip syncing. The New Edition movie on BET, I love that. Those boys were magnificent. They were singing, they were acting. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see you lip syncing. I'm sorry. Don't make the picture.
There is some good stuff on TV. Let me ask you, because you always say how you don't like kids for yourself.
Oh, I am so grateful I don't have children. And I'm getting I do cameos. Speaking of Blac Chyna and her $800, I charge $100 for a cameo. I should up my price. But I get a lot. I'm here with my children. Please say hello to my wife. She's being driven crazy by my son, who's running around like the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
And I goof on that and rank on them having children, which they love, because when you rank on people that have children, they know what it is. It's difficult. That's the one thing Jerry and I, amongst many other things, agreed on, was didn't want children. And I am so happy I don't have children. We're here, we have our drinks, we watch movies. We look at the Empire State Building every night, which is right outside our window. We see it dance for us every night. That stuff dances, and it brings light and pleasure to us. And 7 o'clock, Jerry's there with his little foghorn that he has.
Me too. I do the pans.
He has a what is that thing called? It's a horn that you
an air horn.
Yeah, an air horn. Yeah, out the window, and we got our cocktails, and we go up on our roof deck. We have a beautiful roof deck. We live, like I told you, I have no doorman. It's very kind of a, private, cool building. I love this building.
But you live nice. We love you so much here at the show. You be safe, okay, Mario?
I will. I'm having water, and I'm switching to tequila.
Thank you for showing up. Have a nice day.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
honey. Be careful. All right, bye-bye.
Up next, it's Kenya Moore.